Hello, welcome to the Divine MF Podcast. I'm Richard H. Plime.
And I'm Nancy Thurman.
And all right, let's get into this. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the mansplaining and the nagging. The mansplaining and the nagging. So we'll kind of dive into that a little bit playfully, and then we'll share an instance of a young adult kind of wanting to navigate their way into the world as they were wondering. Well, they weren't wondering where, but they were in sort of a juncture for their higher education and their career path. Mm-hmm. And so we will use this as a case study for the yin approach to moving forward, and then the yang approach to moving forward. So just quick recap, those of you that have not been following along since the beginning. Yang is will, moving forward, direction, a vector. So having a magnitude and then also a direction. And then the yin.
The yin is a support, an allowance, a faith type of energy, which is considered a feminine energy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yang being the masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, shall we nagging or mansplaining?
Nagging.
Nagging first? Okay.
Yeah, let's do nagging. Essentially, the dynamic of nagging is usually a female that's sensing a feminine energy that is sensing there's nothing to support. So what a feminine or a yin energy is looking for is something to support. So like a cause, a direction, a calling, a purpose to support. A lot of feminine energies will look to faith, spirituality, God. They are looking for this purpose. Mm-hmm. So when you have a dynamic, a human-to-human interaction, energetically, that a feminine energy that's naturally feminine or yin, they want to support something.
Okay, so when you said a moment ago they're looking for a purpose, they're not looking for their purpose.
Correct.
They're wanting a purpose to support.
Correct.
Something I can get behind.
Yes.
And make happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what can I support? What can I cheerlead? What can I get excited about? Mm-hmm. And it's not so much their stuff, it's what's around them externally that they can interact with. And that's the polarity, that's the energetic polarity that is driving most of us as human-to-human interactions. Okay.
And then so what are when there is a purpose to support, what are some characteristics of that when that's looking right or well or complete? Yeah.
Well, so let's just use everyday examples to kind of start off. Not even the big stuff. We're talking the little stuff. When a feminine energy, a yin energy, wants to go out to eat, they are looking to the masculine energy to decide where to go out to eat.
Right.
Most females will have an opinion, yes, but if there is not a strong yang energy saying, let's go to Mexican, or I prefer Mexican and I prefer steak, let's choose between the two, like a dynamic that says solid, let's make a decision, then the yin will start to dig in and say, well, I don't really know what I want to do. That's actually a nag.
Right. Well, okay, so this is almost a segue. So right now, are we all thinking about the notebook meme or like the GIF, whatever?
Yes.
What do you want? Okay, so from the yang perspective, I think that why this is such a common thing is because from the yang perspective, meals are supporting. The nourishment of a meal is supporting the getting it done and getting the driving forward.
Yeah.
So from the yang perspective, it's this is the yin, this is yin zone.
Right.
So what are we doing for dinner? So that's where I think this stalemate is coming from. Is choosing a restaurant an act of will, or is it an act of support?
Yes. Well, and as we know, and kind of as a recap, that no one is 100% yang and no one is 100% yin.
Right.
So you're going to have a piece of each, and you should be cognizant of kind of where you're living at all times, and that's the consciousness piece of this.
Where you're living being, am I coming from a yin place? Am I coming from a yang place?
Right.
At this moment.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's an example of the yin pushing and injecting energy into the dynamic in order to push the yang to rise to the occasion.
Right.
I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. Why do you always make me decide? I don't know.
Pick something. You're not going to like what I pick. Yeah. So is there a one-size-fits-all answer for this? Like, can we put this one to rest, or is this just going to perpetuate forever? So, I mean, I'm just going to put forth assert. Is it the yang? Just choose a place? Just go for it?
I would like to challenge that.
You think the yin?
Yeah.
Just choose?
So, yeah. I think
so we're having the opposite for everybody?
No, I think that the yang should choose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes, the yang just, here it is, let's have steak.
Yes. Now, it doesn't have to be male and female, but it just has to be a conscious decision.
Right.
So say for instance, if, I've worked all day in the operating room, I'm yanging, doing my doctor thing. I come home and I say to you, I want to do Mexican. I'm yanging you, right? And are you okay with that?
Heck yes, I'm from California. That's all I want to eat all the time.
So, but I do know that, yes.
But really, yeah. So I think that this is actually great. What we're kind of digging at is, rather than, okay, I'm the yang in the relationship, let me choose, to actually open up and look at the other person. So even in my yangness, considering where my partner is coming from and what is needed.
Right.
Just had a long day. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah. Yes.
Or yeah.
It's literally in the moment deciding what is best for the dynamic of the two polars. So that is actually a yin and a yang quality. And I think that's the beauty of it. It's supporting the whole.
Right.
And that's what a really awake relationship is all about. Is being very conscious of the decisions you're making and keeping both energies in mind.
Right.
At all times.
Yes. So again, from the yang, if I had just had the long day and I come home and I don't know what to eat, I mean, a huge turn on would be for my yin partner to just kind of intuit that and offer support. Hey, you just had this big long day. What would you like to eat? Let's go anywhere you want to go. Yeah. Or, you were outside all day doing the da-da-da. Let's get you a hearty meal. What sounds good? Right. So then as the yang, I'm getting the huge feeling of support from my partner and the encouragement to be able to just choose a spot. Right. Without feeling like I'm being inconsiderate or, I got the pass. I got not only the pass to choose, but I got the support and the love. So that opens me up to the partner. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So there's a win both ways. Yes. So whoever had the hardest day gets to choose the meal. Yeah. No, but I think this is interesting. Kind of open up and consider, yes, am I a yang in this relationship moment? Yes. Or am I a yin in this relationship moment? And what best will suit my partner? Right. And then what will also best serve me supporting my partner, whether that's with support or through will. Right. Yes. I don't know if any of you guys are confused, but I always get confused. Like, so I'm supporting but willing, but support but will to support. Yes.
Yeah, and it does, and it flows back and forth. And that's actually the beauty of the awake relationship, is it's constantly changing. But your dynamic, no buts, and your dynamic actually dictates which flow goes which way. And it's very attractive to me as a yin, and that is my nature, is to be more yin, which I've explained that in some of the previous episodes. And that's the reason why being a physician was so weird initially, once I figured all that out and worked on myself. But being more of a yin type partner, it actually feels really good when Richard decides, yeah, let's go eat Mexican. I'm like, woo, let's go. All right, I don't have to think about it. Yay.
Yes, I haven't had tacos in 2 days. I'm freaking out.
Exactly, tacos it is.
Right. Okay, cool. So that resolves the what are we eating. So back to the nagging. What is, I guess, so rather than fish for the answer, I'll just share the answer. Is there a desire for a feeling of safety when finding a will? Does the feeling of safety have anything? I mean, in an awakened relationship, that concept kind of dwindles. The idea of safe isn't needed really. But yeah,
there is a piece of yin when you have some yin energy that's, I guess the word I'm going to use, and take this with a grain of salt, is a little immature. So you're learning how to interact in the world and how dynamics work in relationships, primary relationships especially. There is an actual piece of a yin that is looking for a solid, give me something to put my teeth on. And usually that is safety. That is human nature.
Right.
Most humans want to survive. Most humans don't want to hurt. Most humans want to feel safe. The times that they don't causes a lot of inner turmoil. So, or chaos, and then their lives actually reflect that.
Right.
It all comes back to self-image, and we've talked about self-image in previous podcasts. If there is a little bit more of an immature and not haven't worked on themselves, a yin type individual, they're going to seek safety. So
that'll be kind of the poster child or the proxy for, I need some kind of direction to support.
Yes, exactly.
The thought is safety.
Yes.
Okay.
It feels safe. Okay, let's give you an example. It feels safe to take a job for a corporation with a regular paycheck. That is a safe mission, a safe, put it in the box, I can rely on that.
Right. Because a corporation has a very clear grow the business, whatever it is.
Right. And a lot of people take jobs just for that level of security. Not a bad thing, not a good thing. It's just, it is. It's human nature to do that.
Right.
When you're in a primary relationship, there is a level of safety. Sure, there are some folks out there that would prefer to have no safety in a relationship. Or they don't have relationships for that reason. They believe they'd never be safe. So they just, they're kind of gypsy types that go in and out of relationships.
Right. Just real quick, I'm just thinking about this. So all of you yang folks out there, if you happen to have a corporate job, that doesn't mean, oh my gosh, I'm yin. Because I think actually a corporation also offers support.
Yes.
This is the task I'm good at. This is what I want to do. Oh, if I work for this corporation, I can have the frequent flyer. They'll pay for my flight. I'll get upgraded computers all the time. I'll get
benefits.
I will get all of this support so that I can do that. so the corporation can offer yin for the yang people. It also offers yang
for the yin people.
So
yes.
So
it's all in
right.
in the energetics of what your essence is.
Yes. So all of us yangers in the corporate world, we don't have to quit and go be cowboys.
Unless you really want to.
But we can if we want to. Okay. So nagging. So it's this idea of safety, something I can get behind if you're immature, not quite knowing what it really is.
Right.
But it's a direction I can get behind. And so nagging then would be, I have the yang person picked out, but they're not yanging.
And a lot of times what will happen, and this is just my personal opinion, is you are going to be with the partner that's matching you.
Right.
So if you are a yanger, say let's use me as an example. I am yanging, yang, yang. And
so this is before.
I'm totally suppressing all of my yin that I really would rather express.
So this is Nancy 5 years ago.
Yes.
The yanging Nancy is 5 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is I attract yin, masculine energies. So folks that are suppressing their yangs. So it makes sense that you would have a dynamic where a feminine masculine that is trying to be more masculine in the corporate world or in medicine or whatever the case may be would attract a more feminine yin mate. And that's exactly what had happened. And this is not a jab on on men that are more in touch with their feminine side. That's not what this is about. This just has to do with the dynamics of what you attract.
Right. So some sort of balance a counter will be met. And so if you are not centered with yourself, whether that's yin or yang, regardless of what your body looks like, if you're not centered with yourself, that off-centeredness, you will find a balance to that.
Right.
And so if you're not centered, that person will likely carry the qualities of a centered version of you. But they're doing it, so you won't get to do it.
Right.
The relationship will be awkwardly balanced.
Right.
Yes.
So, when you're, say, it actually gets to a what I would consider a lower level, less awake relationship where you've got codependency or you've got hyper independency. So codependency in that you are expressing your yin so much that you're not going to get your ass off the couch. Like you're not going to even go and try and attempt to contribute financially into the relationship.
Right.
That's those dynamics are out there, and I've actually experienced those dynamics. Not bad or good. This is not a judgment thing.
Right.
This is actually where it's an opportunity to go inside and say, what is it that I really, really want?
Yes. All right. Taz attack.
That's a Taz attack.
Yeah.
Taz likes to be on camera. But that's your opportunity. So you don't necessarily, if you're in a relationship and you go, yes, my significant other is just not yanging enough. And I was there, and I realized that I was doing all the yanging. That's why. Right. It was totally a dynamic thing, where if you're excessively yanging,
right, and
you are trying to take control of everything, like finances, like the bringing home the bacon, like everything that's running in the house, calling the plumbers, doing all of the chores. So I wanted him to yang more because I just was like, I'm doing everything. I'm exhausted. And what ended up happening was once I was delving into what was going on and what the dynamics were, I realized I had been yanging everything. Everything. But I was requesting him to yang more, and actually nagging became, that was essentially what I was doing. I was injecting as much energy into him as I could.
Right.
As a yin.
Right.
That had suppressed my yin and ended up that's how the dynamic fell apart.
Right. And so the yang, if they're not needed, it's where can I direct this magnitude of energy that I have? Everything is okay, you're doing that and you're doing that and you're doing that and you're like, what is there? So if everywhere I look it's already being handled, there really is no there's no like the word was reason for me to be here.
Yes, but, exactly.
Yeah, so there is no, like, what is the purpose? Okay, well, so without the direction, then there's, okay, so, hey, where's your direction? Where's your direction? Where's your direction?
Yeah.
Now, let's see, so did we finish that?
Well, and that's the great intro to what mansplaining is.
No, not yet. I want to finish this. Well, I mean, that probably is, but I want to go for a kind of more functioning. Because this is a kind of, seems like imbalanced. If there's a yin person that's having to yang.
Yes.
But let's go with someone let's go a little bit less
extreme.
Polarized. Yeah.
Yes.
So if there's a yang, so you're the yin in a relationship and your yang partner there's a sense of not as much direction or maybe not as much magnitude in that direction.
Right.
Let's talk about nagging in that sense.
Yes.
So it would be, hey, the heading, we're losing the heading.
Yes.
Either we're not going there or we're losing track of where we want to be going. And so the sort of nag or prod is to kind of, it really is an offer of support. Hey,
yes.
What's going on here? And now for the yang, that's actually a beautiful reflection. Oh, am I focused on what's going on? Is there enough energy put into this? Because for whatever reason, even if there is, my partner isn't seeing that or perceiving that. So it comes from sensing either lack of the direction or the direction's kind of changing or the magnitude in the direction is softening, lessening. There's not a sense of movement.
And maybe even ambiguity can be a trigger too.
So that to me would be the direction.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And a nag is essentially a yin's attempt to inject energy into that flow. So it's usually loving, even though it may not look like it from the outside, but it has a love component to it.
Right.
It's loving the dynamic enough to help push things forward or to help clarify that direction.
Right. Yes. And so now, yangers, it's a reflection of you. It's, oh, my partner is sensing in me now either that there's not a clear direction or that there's not enough energy put into the direction that is agreed upon for the relationship, whether it's the house, the career, the vacation, it doesn't matter what it is, where we're going to eat.
Yes.
So to take that as a positive reflection. Oh, okay. Oh, shoot, I got to fix my collar. The mirror would reflect that. Oh, great. Now I fixed my collar. Now I'm good to go. Same with this instance of nagging. Oh, okay. So my partner's not seeing what I see or is not feeling that there's enough energy put into it. How can I adjust? Now, on the flip side of that, there is I'd say a need for the yang to stay the course, because to be able to be easily shifted with every instance of nag, that is not yang.
Correct. Yes.
So if you can just be redirected every time she says something, every time the yin says something, or this feeling of never moving until there's a prod, a lot of self-reflection is self-assessment and inner work is needed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's accepting the reflection, but also staying true with the will.
Right.
That is what your partner wants. So they don't want necessarily to redirect you, usually. It's just a sense of, hey, what's our direction? It is up to you to go forth with that. What is, and in a way that is not only what's best for you, but what's best for the relationship. And all of the others involved, if there are like children or pets or something, or extended family, whatever your situation is.
The purpose of the nag is to activate consciousness.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. It's self-reflection for both.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've gotten into a habitual relationship where you're nagging constantly, oh yeah, to do this, and then all you're doing is, reacting to this nagging type of energy,
mm-hmm.
then yes, of course, something is amiss.
Right.
That means two people are not being conscious of what they are presenting to the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So if I were to, as a yang, if I were to feel like nagging was happening, if a nag was happening, I'd say my impulse would be to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And to my yin partner, okay, look, this is what's going on. Here's the playbook mm-hmm. in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is the scenario. This is where we're headed. This is what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With assurance, with confidence. This is because I have assessed, because I am yanging.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going on. This is why it looks like this. This is what's going to happen. And then the yin
would relax.
If it's sound.
Yes.
If it's not sound, there will be more pushback. And that is an indication to me, the yang, there's something I'm not catching here.
Uh-huh.
And then so we both benefit. I benefit certainly from this. No, actually, no. That's not going to cut it this time.
Yes.
Because we can't all see everything. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that would be my approach to a nag.
Yeah.
As a more functioning yin yang balance.
Uh-huh.
And that's just defined as the partnership knowing who's carrying more of the yin and who's carrying more of the yang. Mm-hmm. However that looks for the two aligned individuals in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. And then an aligned yin is going to know, looks like this person is getting their shit together mm-hmm. and has a direction. I can relax. Mm-hmm. And then the nagging stops.
Right.
It's you just don't get that urge anymore to nag. You don't get the urge to inject that energy in there. You're more like, yay, mm-hmm. let's relax, because you feel safe, and you're like, all right, yay, somebody's fucking taking charge. Mm-hmm. Finally.
Right.
And truthfully, that is the yin energy. And then the yin actually can rise into the support energy, to the I'm going to help you. How can I help you with this direction? Mm-hmm. And that's how the dynamics work that's healthy.
Yes. And once this dynamics works, I love this flowing gesture that you just did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, often this alignment, this cooperation, this is where, often a nice romantic period will be mm-hmm. the result mm-hmm. for the partnership. Mm-hmm. This is flowing. This is right. This is yes. The yang has a will. The yin is supporting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
And it's it works for your romantic relationship, your intimate relationship. It also works for your everyday stuff, or even your business ventures too, even to that point of career. If you're going to have a relationship that involves a shared career,
Right.
it works, but it does, and it has to have. I always say, I got to stop saying that, but. That it has to have that conscious dynamic, though. Each person has to work on their own crap, and it's not about what the other person is doing. It's about where you're coming from. If you decide you're going to be the yin in the relationship, then be the yin. If you decide to be the yang, be the yang most of the time. We're not talking 100%, like I said. You have to have some flexibility, and you have to actually switch up in the moment sometimes. Sometimes you have to be on top, and sometimes you have to be on the bottom.
Right. So those listening that may be in kind of an existing relationship, we've had this relationship for a very long time, and it's feeling imbalanced right now. I think I'd say, generally speaking, a nice beginning place is to pause and to sort of come together in a conversation. Okay, let's establish this yin and yang. Who's going to be the more yin? Who's going to be the more yang? And how is that going to look in the different departments of our life together? And from there, individually develop the yin for yourself, cleaning up your crap, developing the yang for yourself, cleaning up your crap. And so that is the project that you are doing together. So rather, I'd say generally, and this is not advice, but just rather something to think about. What if, rather than cleaning up all of the history, to just stop and develop self in tandem, and that self-development is the project that the two are doing together.
Right.
And then from there, the new flow can work.
Yes.
I'd say would work.
Yeah. And
generally.
if there's parts of the dynamic that aren't working, dig into those first. And really make an effort. You don't have to necessarily go to a therapist to do this.
But you can if you want.
You can, or you can have a coach, relationship coach. You can have friends that know both of you to give you advice. But regardless, you have to inject consciousness into it. You have to become very aware of what doesn't work.
Right.
If there's something that's not working, if there are days where you get up every morning and you go, ugh, another day like this, you have to start going through each section of your lives and figure out what's not working.
Yes. So speaking of coaching, this podcast is brought to you by Shared Heart Journeys, sharedheartjourneys.world, tools for the awakening life. And so you can go log on there and book a free 30-minute coaching consultation with either Nancy or myself, or the pair of us. And so we coach individual yin development, yang development, and also coaching couples and relationships.
Right.
And this doesn't have to be only for relationships. This can be for getting into graduate school. This can be for getting the promotion. This can be for cleaning up my home life and restructuring the way I want to raise my family. Whatever area of development is sought after, we're happy to help from the yin and the yang perspectives. So go ahead and check out sharedheartjourneys.world, and we look forward to seeing you there. Mansplaining?
Mansplaining.
Ooh, mansplaining. Okay, so as I recall, I didn't actually re-look this up, but I remember when that word first started floating around it. I think it had to do with, or the story I heard was that this woman was on a date, like an early date, first date or whatever, with some guy, and the guy kept trying to tell her about this article he read or something, and she was the writer of the article.
Oh gosh.
That's how. I don't know if this is true or urban legend, but this is what I kind of remember, is that she was kept trying to say, well, yeah, this I understand. I know this subject. I wrote this is my article, but she couldn't get a word in edgewise because he kept on telling her all about the article that she wrote.
Yes.
And so the term mansplaining was coined. That's as I understand it. Maybe
Yes.
that's it. Maybe that's not it. But I think we all kind of generally know that mansplaining is, as I understand it, a male, yang, but male, over-explaining something to a woman, and there's this kind of there's this implicit notion of I'm the man I know and you're a woman, so you must not know. I think that's the kind of understanding, is a man explaining something to a woman with the assumption that she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
And oftentimes she does, and probably knows more than the man. I think that's kind of the energy around this term. Is that
Yes.
am I missing something?
No, I think that's I think that's what it's all about.
Okay, so
I've never had a masculine energy before that tried to mansplain to me.
Really?
So, yes.
Ah.
Yeah, you forget. I was yanging for all those years that nobody had a chance to do anything.
I'm not messing with her.
I'm not going there.
No. Okay, so as the yang, it's usually the feeling is wanting to be helpful.
Uh-huh.
That's really generally, I think, all that's happening. It's not I'm so great. For some people it is. There are definitely egomaniacs out there. But I think generally it's there's nothing like it's something to say, and it's being of use, being useful.
Yes.
So it is this feeling of, oh, I can offer direction, and I know what to do with this. I can help you with this. I know, it or displaying not only to help you, but hey, look at me. I understand things, and I have direction, and I'm sure-footed. So you want to yin my yang?
Yes. It almost is like almost like a neon sign to say I got my yang on.
Yes. Yeah, I think some peacocking a little bit.
Yeah.
Look at my beautiful feathers.
Yes.
Also, there's this thing of, in when it's single people, it's what else do you say to the pretty girl? I can't possibly say, hi, how was your day? I need to prove that, like, who am I? I need to show her who I am.
Uh-huh.
What I'm about. And so, but it doesn't seem to work. It's a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
And so after thinking about it for a while, I thought, you know what? Even though it seems like a displaying of yang, look at my knowledge, look at my direction, my clarity, my confidence. But if it's to, like, help, that's actually offering support, which is a yin quality.
Right.
So it appears as though I'm yanging, but really what's happening is offering support to a yin, but the yin wants to be supporting. So they don't want to be supported, they want to support. Mm-hmm. So to support the supporter, it's like there's nothing to do with that. It's a turnoff. Is
it a bravado? Would you say that the yin is actually catching on that there is a fakeness about that?
Right. Yes, I'd say that that's another dimension too, mm-hmm. For sure.
Because intuitively, a yin is actually going to trust their gut and their heart, and they're going to go, there's something off there.
Right. Yes. If I have to explain things, if I have to display my yang, I must not be yanging.
Uh-huh.
If I were really living my yang, living my purpose, that's all I would be doing, and nothing else would matter.
Uh-huh.
Then I would have the confidence to say, hi, how are you? How's your water?
Uh-huh.
Or your cappuccino.
Uh-huh.
And let it be that.
Uh-huh. Yes, that makes total sense.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yangers out there, you don't really have to do anything. I think we spoke about this before.
You just have to be.
Just be living your purpose, mm-hmm. And the right yin, the right partner, will find you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
Done.
Stop mansplaining.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, don't show off your feathers. Just get in the air and fly.
Uh-huh.
She'll see your feathers if you're flying. Ooh.
Ooh, that's really good.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that seems simpler
Uh-huh.
than the nagging bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there more with the mansplaining? Shall we
Well,
look at the egomaniac? What?
yeah, I
What were you
mean,
gonna
yeah,
say?
truthfully, we could go, because it's almost like a toxic masculine energy, a toxic yang.
Mm-hmm.
There's been, I mean, I've had interactions with that. Usually, it was when I was younger, less confident, less yang, that I would get interactions like that. And yeah, it was the puffing of the chest. It was the look at me type of energy.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that intuitively, that's what I picked up on, was this was false.
Right. And interesting, you mentioned that it was a time when you were younger and less confident.
Right.
And so maybe these individuals were picking up on, oh, she doesn't seem that confident right now. I don't have to be flying so high. Let me just fake it.
Yes. Which makes sense.
Right. Someone who's not actually living their purpose, but just, oh, here's someone that they might buy it.
Yes. Yes.
They might buy the bravado.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't living in my, number one, I wasn't living in a yang, but also I was not even living in a solid yin.
Sure.
So I was actually in what I would consider a weakened yin state, not knowing how to support, not knowing what that loving compassion and intuition that normally is in a yin state, what that looks like and what that feels like and how you emanate that. So yeah, I mean, I was a teenager. What can you say?
Right.
But that's that level of development. It makes total sense that I would have matched up with a not very well developed yang.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's a subdeveloped yang that's trying to cover it up
Right.
with more yang,
Yes.
with this weird fake yang stuff. And then you've got a not well developed yin. So it yet again, you attract exactly what is your match.
Right.
In that regard.
Yes, so those of you yangers that find yourself doing that or think, oh, maybe that is happening a bit. The answer is to simply work on yourself. What is my purpose? And let me live it. Like in all areas of life. How is my living space? How am I keeping that? How am I keeping that? How is my job and my career? Am I moving forward? Am I the best at my position than I was yesterday, every single day? Regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or if you're a barista or if you take out the trash, like whatever. How can I do it more efficiently? How can I do it better than I was yesterday? How can I do it more confidently than I was yesterday? And not arrogantly, but confidently. How do I dress? How do I look? How am I maintaining my vessel? And that means bathing, and that also means working out, whatever that is for you, and the foods that you're taking in. That's where to put your energy. Then you will, before you know it, you are already flying, and you won't have to show your feathers, and the right yin will find you. That's the answer. There's no one to hunt for or to find the right yin. Much better just be the best yang you can be. Sharpen up my direction, laser sharp focus, with as much magnitude there as possible for my own well-being. Then someone will come and support that.
Yeah, and the yin is actually the yin intuitively feels that, and that is where that attraction happens. And you'll know it immediately if there's a match. You don't have to date for 5 years to figure this out.
No, you'll know it pretty quick. Yeah, you don't have to talk for 30 seconds.
No,
You'll know. YouTubers call it choosing signals in dating relationships. That the woman, the yin, will give you choosing signals. She will signal to you, yes, come talk to me. You don't have to go and say, hey, huh, you will know.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
did. That's what I did with Richard. I was the first to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Any more on mansplaining?
No,
Should I tell you more about what mansplaining is?
no, I think you're good. I think you don't need to explain no more.
All right. There we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you want to lay the framework for this this case study from yesterday?
Yeah. So this is a young
Young
adult that's in college, who I had written a recommendation letter for medical school. He's been attempting to take the MCAT and all of the correct courses, and he's doing fine in school, but he does work for his father and his mother in a restaurant, and he's been doing that for 2 years to help them through COVID. And he's learning a lot of the dynamics of the business, and knows that, and what weighs heavy on him is that he still wants to go to medical school, but getting into medical school is challenging, as we all know. And there's a few bumps in the road getting into medical school, but he's also enjoying learning business stuff. And so I think he's got some ambiguity around his purpose at this point, which is it's typical of, a college student. Most of us don't know what the hell we want to do when we're that age. So it was a very interesting dialogue yesterday, after having a little bit of the discussion with his father, and then who I've known for 25 years at this point, and then also with him, who's working in the restaurant. So it was a very interesting dynamic on how to approach finding your purpose as a young adult, and especially as a masculine energy. And he actually is a masculine energy. He is not a feminine energy, or yin at all. He does have a lot of his father in him, which is also a yang energy.
Yes. So one thing I'd like to kind of throw out there is that I'd say, so with this notion of many young people not knowing what they want to do, I think that it's actually, they do know what they want, and what they want is success. And whatever that looks like. And there's a lot of kind of stock images of what that is. Oh, this house, this kind of car, oh, this family, living in this neighborhood, this salary. I got to get ahead. I got to financial independence, passive income. There are all these just kind of terms and phrases and buzzwords and meme images that are like success. And I think that's what it is. They all want success. And then there's this feeling of, what is the road that's going to bring me success soon, now? Maximum effect with minimal effort.
Right.
What's going to get me there and get me ahead? And so, that's not knowing what road that is. That's what we all see as not knowing what to do. But really, it's just not knowing what's going to bring me this success. And so I think that this is a completely false premise. Because as I see it now, it doesn't really matter what your salary is. You're working.
Right.
And there's very and salary has nothing to do with the feeling of freedom. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's because I've known people personally that are at the top of their whatever career food chain, whether they are the doctors or they are the business owners or they are the CEOs, bringing in all of the cool 6-7 figures. No, 7-8 figures. Yes, like real bringing it in, and there's still often the same sense of working as the barista working their way through college,
Right.
trying to pay, how am I going to pay my tuition and the books and the rent?
It's still the doing.
It's still this doing to maintain. Now, there's no argument that, the barista driving the Corolla versus the CEO driving the Tesla or the whatever. Yeah, it's much more enjoyable to be working for, at least I get to drive the Tesla
Yes.
rather than driving the Corolla. Even though we're all sitting in traffic anyway.
In LA, I guess.
In California.
Yeah.
So it's what is actually happening is much of the life spent at work.
Yeah.
And so rather than what will get me in and ahead so then I don't have to be there, why not just choose something that will feel good every step of the way?
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it takes me 5 years or 10 years or 60 years. Because every moment of it will feel incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd rather be driving a Corolla feeling good than driving a Tesla feeling miserable.
Right. And yes, what comes with, higher levels of education, and, I can speak for this, higher levels of education, higher incomes, more crap, more people to deal with, more financial headaches. Yes, that is not what floats your boat. It's the feeling of the freedom that you think that shit does for you.
Right.
This was a huge light bulb moment for me as a physician. It's not the crap. It's not the crap. It is the feeling that you're trying to attain by getting the crap. So why not go inside and find the feeling first? And then
because you could feel that right now.
the careers are going to align to that. You go, I want to create a career that helps me feel like that. Yeah, that's fine. But you don't want to say, I need to be successful in order to make the life that I feel like I need to have in order to feel freedom.
Right.
So it's the other way around. It's actually not an external thing, it's an internal thing.
Right. Yes, and this success is a definition that was defined by somebody else.
Probably
like, what
a parent.
even is that? Yeah.
Maybe a parent.
Yes, from society, from culture. Like, who decides what success? Who decided that? So yeah, so rather, what is in alignment? What will feel good instantly? So that it doesn't matter. It really won't matter.
Yes.
And when it doesn't matter, it's the Tesla that comes much easier. The big house, and it may look a different way. It might not be a Tesla. It might be a Jaguar, but it'll feel good.
Right.
Yeah. So now back to this student, kind of going forward into business or medicine, or still wanting to find the success. What would be if this person was a yin, or if there was a yin individual in this circumstance, what would be the yin way to move forward?
Truthfully, you have to start to access your emotions. You have to actually go inside and say, what does my heart tell me? I never asked myself that. I was all head. I was living in head. I never dropped into my body, even though I even ignored signs. I had irritable bowel, I had reflux, I had all kinds of weird stomach stuff during high school and college. I was ignoring everything. And then, of course, as the years progressed, even to the point where I even had chest pain. So I actually had physical symptoms based on where I had cut my entire body off from my head. Because I was so compartmentalized, and I need to be a doctor, I need to be a doctor. So this was the yin component that I had ignored. And that is the best advice that really I could give anyone, is to follow your heart around those decisions. And it balances out the head stuff. So if you're in that head mode, and what's logical, what's practical, what makes sense, what's intellectual, those kind of thinkings, you need to drop down into that yin part of you, which everyone has. And some people that have more yin essences, they may not necessarily want to go into a corporate yang environment.
Right.
You have to ask yourself what feels right.
Yes. Okay. So what feels right?
So how would a yang person approach this?
So the yang approach, I'd say, would be to find to identify the life purpose. And so I'd start with, so Data put it so succinctly in this question: what is the what do I need to accomplish in my life that I could die happy? I could die after, as soon as this is complete. If I died then, that's okay. Now I'm going to add one thing to that, which is, what is the one thing I want to accomplish in this life that even if nobody saw me do it, I would die happy? Because so often, especially for a young person, there's this, I want this success, I want my parents to be proud of me, my so-and-so, I want the Oscar.
Acknowledgement.
Yes. So without acknowledgement, if nobody saw me do it, but I did this in my life, I'm like just so, whatever that thing is, do that. Whatever is driving towards that, which is actually to say bringing that towards me, bringing that in to my life for real. So it's not really the moving towards it, it's the aiming of it so that it can come to you.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So what is that thing?
And that actually, that yang essence that I'm actually feeling, as you described that, I kind of felt that in my body. It's still a body component.
Yes.
You have to feel that in your body.
Yes, yeah, you won't know the answer in your head.
Yeah, it won't make sense necessarily. It could actually be as simple as, I need to travel the globe. And hit every continent. It could be as simple as something like that.
Yes.
And then whatever falls around that, it just comes to pass, and it feels natural, and it feels, that is heartfelt, that is gut felt, both. I almost feel like heart is almost kind of yin and gut is yang. If you're going to be in the body.
I'll review the humors in the Elizabethans, because stomach and heart are very different. I kind of forgot off the top of my head. Yeah. But there's being able to stomach something, like I can't stomach this, and then there's I don't have the heart to do this. Well, I don't know why I just did can'ts for both of those examples. But I'll review that for a future episode. Yeah. Now, with this finding the purpose, it doesn't have to exist yet. And so I use this example often, which is, it's actually my brother's example. When we were very young, he loved playing Nintendo, and he wanted to be a professional Nintendo player when he grew up. This is way before internet and YouTube and all of that. And so, but it was just as, you can't do that. But he had it in his mind. No, I know what it'll be like. Like, kids will call me up, and when they can't beat a level, I'll show up and I'll help them beat that level. There was nothing like that remotely. That's just some little silly kid dream. No, you got to grow up and whatever. Well, now as we entered adulthood, all of this stuff came out, and so now we all know about things like Twitch, and the YouTubers will play a level and show you how to beat it, and there's even video game competitions where it's literally like in parlance with being a professional athlete and making like livable incomes by playing whatever Nintendo system or whatever video game system.
Yes.
And you could even become an expert in just one game. And I mean, so that's, if you don't know, that is a thing. You can totally look up people that will show you how to beat levels and how to do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think that was ultimately my brother's purpose. He's certainly living his purpose. However, he had a desire for this thing that didn't exist. And so I use that as an example to suggest that even if it doesn't exist right now, go towards it. You may be the one to invent it, or when it's time, you will find yourself in a place where all of the resources do support that. It will exist by the time you get there, or by the time it comes to you.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have to exist.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know, just kind of in summary with him yesterday, we kind of discussed both following his heart and also finding his purpose and what he would be okay with working 80 hours a week.
Yes.
Because yes, as a physician, you're going to work 80 hours a week or even 100 and some hours a week sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Just like a restaurant owner and just like you know, many. So that's the thing. And it's not even what would you be okay with, but what would you feel great about? What would you, if you were waking up at 3 a.m. every day, you would wake up feeling good. Like, I gotta go do it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, I don't even need the alarm.
Uh-huh.
That's how much I want to do this.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that was kind of how we left it. So we'll see what he ends up doing in the next few months.
Yes.
It'll be fun to follow up with him. Yeah.
All right. Is this one complete?
I'm feeling pretty complete.
All right. Cool. Thank you, guys. This has been an episode of Divine MF Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share this with anyone that may find it of use. Yeah, it's up to you to help us grow this podcast.
Yeah.
So if you're enjoying it, please share it. If you're on YouTube, please leave us a comment for any suggestions of topics to discuss. I don't know if you can comment on Spotify and all that stuff. But you can definitely hit up our website, sharedheartjourneys.world, and contact. There's a form, a questionnaire form, and you can ask questions there.
Yeah. And we'd appreciate any feedback, and we're very grateful for you guys.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.